to episode 13, part 2, the football section of Full-Time Banter. My name's Tariq.
I'm Liam.
And still no Riz, he is not available today. We miss you, Riz. Do come back quick. But before we carry on, make sure you like, share and subscribe. Follow us on Twitter at FullTimeBanter7, where you can get in touch with us, send us all sorts of messages, like a few people have been doing, because at this section again, I get accused of hating on Man United. It's like, why? You're always obsessed with Man United. Well, you know what? It's only been 3 years. And I've been getting it for the past 20 years. So while it lasts, you're going to get the pelters. But, you know, it's not just me. It's all been blowing up this week.
I don't think it's stopped blowing up, has it? It feels a bit like the Blitz.
Yeah.
We're trying to take cover and just it's one thing after another. You think it's all gone calm and then you hear the next...
Yes.
The air in sounds.
Yes.
Coming in.
It's funny because...
It's not funny, it's fucking annoying.
It's absolutely hilarious, but the funny point is I put out the message on Twitter and various other mediums for some comments and some thoughts about what's happening at Manchester United. And usually you can't stop the United fans for talking crap all the time. But strangely, they were all silent. Nobody wanted to comment. So we have got a couple of people in. But before we get on to their points, I'm going to ask you, because the problem is clearly Jose Mourinho. He's been left behind. He's a bit of a dinosaur. Or are you with him? You pulling your nose at that?
No, carry on. Go on.
I think he's part of the problem. Well, he's the major initial problem. But there's much more underlying problems, isn't there? It's been going wrong ever since Fergie left.
Right, 2 separate points. Okay. On the Mourinho front, I think Pogba can pour honey up his arse and go sit on an anthill. Yeah, Pogba can piss off.
Right.
I like him,
yeah.
And I think he's a very good player when he's on song. But I'm sorry, if you don't like your manager, right, I go to work and I get pretty much shit all compared to what they get, yeah, and if I have a crap day, I have to go back the next day. Mate, if you're on 300, 400 grand a week and you hate your boss, tough shit, you go in, you do your job, you clock out, you go out the next day, yeah? Stop being a bitch. And that goes for the rest of them as well.
He is an ego, isn't he?
He is, and maybe that was the thing with France at the World Cup, that Mourinho said, well, he was cut off from everybody there, because they were in the confined bubble kind of thing. And maybe that was right, because the whole point with Ferguson was that he hated his agent, didn't he? Yeah. He said it was like oil and water. Like you were saying before, that, is Mourinho a bit of a dinosaur? I don't think he is. I think we've entered this weird new cycle of, I think it's mindfulness. We do a lot of work in schools, don't we?
Yeah.
The new buzzword at the minute is mindfulness.
Mental well-being
and all this stuff. And you look at Guardiola and Klopp, more Klopp, and then Guardiola has his little history.
Even Pochettino.
Yes, yeah. They're all very much... Brendan Rodgers at Celtic as well, although he does go too far. He never says a bad word. It's like, we were shit, Brendan. But I think players have got that much money and power nowadays that they just want to be mollycoddled. And I think Mourinho, he's a few years older than all the other ones, isn't he?
Yeah.
I think he's still stuck in a bit of a time warp in regards to that, how to deal with the players and how to motivate them. So I think he's maybe dinosaur in those terms.
Yeah, I can kind of sympathise, and some days I do sympathise with his sad, sorry face, because I can imagine being in that scenario and me being that type of manager where thinking, you're professionals, do your job.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, you're paid to do a job, this is your job, you know what to do, you know how to do it, you shouldn't need me to blow smoke up your backside to get the best out of you. But I understand that some people do.
Well, I'm totally carrot over stick.
Yeah.
You catch more flies with honey than vinegar. I get that, but
I love vinegar.
I like vinegar. I like honey and vinegar, but
No, but yeah, I can get that. But where we were going to, I'm going to read Miguel's message because he kind of...
let me have a breather for a minute before we get started.
He hints at some of the points that, I don't want to steal his thunder, but I'll extrapolate on what he's saying. Miguel, our number one fan, thank you again, Miguel, for getting in touch. He's actually an Atletico Madrid fan, but he made some very valid points right up until the end where he completely balls it up. He says, United made two big mistakes in my opinion. One, when Sir Alex Ferguson, from here on in I'm just going to call him Fergie because it's just too much Warlick. When Fergie left, David Gill left with him, which was a big blow and shouldn't have been done in that way. Now I'm not too au fait with the details of that, why did Gill left, how he left or when he left, but we can discuss that, so keep a point on that. And two, this one I particularly like, a club that doesn't sack managers sacked Moyes after 8 months, and that is the board's fault. And then they went on to sack LVG as well. Yes. The current situation is bad. In Fergie's time, he would have curbed any of this behaviour.
Hey, Fergie's time.
Fergie's time, yeah.
Like
No pun intended. In Fergie's time, he would have curbed any of this behaviour and moved on for the betterment of the club, which Jose and Pogba can't seem to do. But that's Miguel because they both got egos as big as houses. The board is to blame. Woodward is clueless regarding football, more a money-making commercial genius, which you and Riz have both said. However, if on-field success fails and no trophies are won, then you've got to worry regarding income. I mean, that's a different scenario, a different point.
I think on that point, sorry, just quickly, I read somewhere that I think there's 15 teams in the Premier League that on a match day could sell no tickets and still come out with a profit.
Wow, okay.
I mean, I might be slightly wrong with what the actual thing was, but it was some bizarre thing that because of the commercial revenue they generate on a match day from sponsorships and advertising, they could afford to have no fans in the ground.
No fans in the ground. Well,
And
they're
they
still doing it, aren't they?
Hey!
Yeah.
And they still charge those prices. Sorry, T, carry on.
No worries. City actually are very, very cheap. They're trying to get fans in, but they just can't.
Yeah.
Which is bizarre. Jose is not from the same cloth as previous managers, previous Man United managers. Yes, he is a winner, but his style of play and DNA is not the United way, which is attack, 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 plus tricky wingers. But, Miguel, neither was David Moyes then, and neither was LVG, but he hired both of those. I believe United made 3 wrong choices in managers since Fergie has left, and therefore today they're suffering the consequences of it. I believe in results first, but if you play shit and win F-all, then you need to worry. You certainly do. Likewise, and here's where he goes a little awry, likewise, Atletico and Liverpool, who play good football but win shit all, then that too is an issue. Although it's what attracts players to the club, i.e. the style of play and manager, and I think Manchester United are in danger of missing out on all the good players if Jose stays, unless they are just interested in the money, as most at United currently are. They're not playing for the shirt, not like the greats used to, and there is no leader at United. I'm just going to put you up on there, your own point. I can't believe you dished your own club there, Miguel. Atletico Madrid, isn't Diego Simeone the most successful manager in your history? I think so, winning 7 trophies in 7 years. So
it's a fair old job.
You just proved your own point wrong there. And at one point, Simeone was linked with Manchester United. Potentially still is. Yeah?
Yeah, I can't really see that as a fit. Somebody like Chelsea would have thought he was more suited to.
Possibly. So, yeah, Miguel, I've got to disagree with you on there. Good football will eventually win out. Yeah? You can't tell me. I mean, even when he was at Chelsea, it was agricultural, let's be polite, his style of football.
Agricultural?
Yeah, but he still had something about it. It was still exciting to watch at times.
He had better game management. I think he knew when to attack. And then there was the famous season when Chelsea won the league under Mourinho, and the most recent one. And the first half of the season they were brilliant, and then I think they played Tottenham and get their asses handed to them.
Yeah.
And then after that they had a complete reversal and went, right now we're playing solid defence, and just basically 1-0'd it all the way to the end of the league. And I think Mourinho, he's lost a bit of the he's probably low on confidence. This is the thing, we see these celebrities and footballers and superstars, and we always assume that you've got to have bollocks the size of goose eggs to do this stuff. But maybe his confidence is shot.
Yeah, this was a topic on One Talk Sport actually. They were saying, they are human after all, they're fallible, and they're under the same pressures. Yeah,
maybe he's not trusting himself to say, right, let's go and play like this, and then for the next game, no, let's do this.
Well, the biggest damning statistic towards that, which I saw earlier today on Twitter, was yesterday's game was the 43rd different lineup he'd started with.
In the run? On the run?
Of your last games, last 43 games.
Yeah, so 43 games running. Yeah, I mean, stuff like that. I mean, in this day and age, you're never going to get the consistency you had in the 60s and 70s.
Smaller squads. Yeah,
my dad can, you can pick a team from the 70s like Coventry, and he'll reel off the 72 team. You're like, how do you know that? Well, it never changed. Because there was no injuries then either.
But there's got to be a level of consistency.
No. Yeah, sorry. The point I was getting to was that you would expect at least a couple. 43. That's a whole season. Of just league competition. You would expect at least 7 players, I would think, to be nailed on every week, and then the other ones rotating around that. But that's.
I'm fairly certain I got that right. 43 or 34, one of them two anyway.
By the way, it's a shit ton.
It is. Got another message here from Naseem Ahmed, Manchester United fan. Went on to start talking nonsense, but before he did, he had a good point.
I doubt it, mate.
He said, Manchester United, the combination of out-of-touch manager with his outdated park-the-bus tactics, players played out of position, players that need to go, including Valencia, Jones, Smalling, Sanchez, Fellaini, McTominay. Wave goodbye to Mourinho now and rebuild, as this season will be trophyless, just like last season. Get rid of the board too, and the money-grabbing owners. Base the ownership model on Bayern Munich, i.e. the fan-owned club. So basically he wants to cull everyone currently at Manchester United, top to bottom, and get the fans in to take over, which would be very interesting to see.
It sounds a bit Night of the Long Knives in Nazi Germany, where Hitler got it out of his own party.
Yeah.
And did it work? Well, until we kicked their ass, it did. But I mean, we had this rant a while back. You let me off the leash, and I called out everybody. I called Woodward a bloody commercial salesman. Maybe they burned the wrong one in the original Wicker Man film. They got the wrong one, Woodward.
Good film by the way.
I've never seen it.
No,
that's
wicked film.
Good Iron Maiden song though. I'll throw that in the mix. But the Glazers are parasites. I mean, most of the fan, the fan backlash has died down about them now, really.
Yeah.
But they are still there, and if you think about it, I mean, under Fergie, they needed major repair for years, but because Fergie was there, he still got the best out of the squad, and then as Fergie's gone, you've seen how bad the problems ran and how nothing was prepared.
But, I mean, in terms of the owners, they backed the managers. I mean...
finally, they're playing catch-up, almost.
I mean, Moyes was a bit of a farce. Moyes was just...
I felt completely sorry for Moyes. He was a decent, hard-working bloke. The job was probably too big for him.
It was.
But, he wasn't backed.
Because he was getting giddy at the thought of signing the likes of Cesc Fabregas and whatnot. And, but in LVG's case, that's who I was pointing at. He bought Angel Di Maria for 60 million, sold him for 30.
Yeah.
Who else? There were other players as well. I can't remember them all.
We've had Falcao came in for a bit.
Yeah, he was backed. So the money's been there. It's just been wasted.
This is the thing, who's making the decisions? Is it the managers or is it the board? Because Woodward is not a football man.
No.
So who's the one that's chasing these things? Because Mourinho recently did say about, I'm just manager or coach, whatever it is. I don't.
And this is what he's hinting at. I mean, from what little I know about Manchester United, but I think this is the way you need to go, is in terms of getting the director of football in, which is the way everyone's going now. Transfers by committee, which everyone criticised initially.
Well, that's when they first started being talked about director of football. When Fergie was still there, and I was going, that's a fucking stupid idea. Why do you need that?
Yeah.
And then now Fergie's left, and you go, we're like the only club that doesn't follow this procedure pretty much, and maybe this is the way to go now.
So, I mean, could Jose turn it around if he stayed? Is he going to stay?
It depends what turn it around is. They won't win the league this year. We're already out of the League Cup. FA Cup's the only hope, and everybody likes a cup run. That's kept United and Liverpool alive at times, hasn't it? A cup run. But is that enough? I mean, no, probably not. But
who's going to get in there? Execution. The thing about
Zidane was at Madrid, and they didn't do anything in the league, but. On the continent, fantastic, but he's not. He was at a club where it was set up, and it was pretty much harmonious, apart from the odd spat with Ronaldo, Bale, etc.
Yeah.
And are they only getting him in because he's French? To pacify Pogba?
Possibly, yes, because he said I'll stay if Zidane comes. I actually heard Laurent Blanc's name mentioned yesterday, so maybe they just have to have any Frenchman just to make Pogba stay. It seems bizarre.
Gerard Depardieu.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, oh God, I don't know. But that's the thing, why you're trying to pacify one player.
Yeah.
If he's dragging 6 or 7 onto his side with him. No, I'm sorry, but apparently I think a lot of the senior ones, they're actually the ones that are going distancing themselves from him. But like Miguel said in the first point he made, we've been in free fall ever since Fergie and Gill left. I mean, what company? Sorry, T. What company do you know gets rid of a CEO and a director at the same time?
Yeah.
None, because it would go to shit.
Well, it wasn't just that, was it? Because after that, they got rid of Phelan.
The whole coaching staff went with
coaching staff. David Moyes.
I think that's the main thing Moyes did wrong.
Yes.
He should have
completely screwed up there
because it was such a big transition from Fergie to himself. He should have kept at least Meluran or Phelan, or one of the two.
And even the latest one, as recent as last week, Liverpool signed your youth goalkeeping coach as assistant to John Achterberg, our first team goalkeeper coach.
This is it. The youth setup. I mean, just a brief point on City. They have the best youth setup in the country. How many youngsters do they play? None. So it's a shit youth setup.
Cities?
Let's be honest. Yeah.
You've got to argue, Phil Foden.
One. Brilliant. One player. One fucking player.
If you actually look at City's products that have come out, it's a big long list, to be honest. They all play for City. Fair enough.
That's the whole point. Why are they not fucking just a meat market?
But they produce players, yeah.
It's just a fucking meat market. He's selling out on loan.
It's the top of the pyramid.
I don't give a shit what it is. Fucking Egyptians.
But anyway, here's obviously we're running out of time. We're gonna have to finish this soon. Yes, you completely screwed up your coaching system. You need to get that back in. Get those good coaches who knew the Fergie way of doing things, who established part of the United way, like Miguel into that, the United philosophy. 2, you need a manager who's going to build a legacy, like Pep is, like Klopp, like Pochettino has, I think, at Spurs. He's just not been backed at this crucial stage he needed to be. Because before Jose came in, everybody knew he was a 3-year manager.
Well, but who builds what is a legacy nowadays? A legacy is probably about 3 or 4 years.
True, but if the right man's in place, he can, if you give him the patience, which I will say, I'll bite my tongue and say, with the right Man United fans would understand that it will take time. And just as Liverpool fans have, the Klopp came in day one and said it's going to take 3 or 4 years before you start seeing any results. And he's showing that now. It's been 3 years. He's at that point now where we're looking stable and looking like we could do something.
I like how you turned that into Liverpool just still last minute.
Everything comes back to Liverpool, we're the model, with the model club at the moment. Yeah. Anyway, United. Let's hope, let's pray Jose gets a couple more results, because really the rest of us were hoping this would stretch out to the end of the season, not be over by Christmas. So
if they do swap him, I can't see it. There'll be the bounce from a new manager, as there always is, but I think it'll revert back to.
Yeah.
I think it's like the case with Emery at Arsenal. They need 2 or 3, 4 transfer windows to get
That's
So
always
once
the
again,
case.
go through an overhaul. But
That's always the way, and he's had those windows. Yeah.
yeah.
And it's interesting. Carlo Ancelotti makes a brilliant point. At one point, he's spoken about when he was at Chelsea, and somebody asked him, something about his management style, and is this what the players needed, and things like that. And he says, well, yes, now this is what they need. Somebody a bit more laid back, giving them freedom, and things like this. But he goes, eventually, that will be bad for the club, and they'll need the stick again. So I'll be out, and there'll be somebody else in, and that will be what they need at that time. So
Yeah.
swings and roundabouts. Yeah, that's it, folks. We're going to leave it there. I can't wait to see what happens with United in the coming week.
I can wait.
Yeah. Champions League final update. Oh, Milan have pulled one back, 1-1. Atletico Madrid, Miguel, drawing against Bruges. And Spurs losing 2-0. Still 0-0 with Liverpool and Napoli, which is okay, I think. I think we could nick one at the end there, but even if we lose that by 1 goal, not the end of the world, I think. But other than that, make sure you like, share, subscribe. We hope you've enjoyed the show. Do get in touch more often. Follow us on Twitter at FulltimeBanter7. If you haven't watched part 1, our FPL section, for some tips, wildcard tips, Harry Kane tips, all the rest. And go back and watch some of our other shows because they're pretty handy as well. Film section in particular, I love the film section. We've done top 5 kung fu films, top 5 sports films. We did a Star Wars run
last week.
Yeah, so whatever ideas you've got, if you want us to talk about something, you want to get involved, just throw it out there, get in touch. Otherwise, we will see you next week.
Cheers, guys.